Hey guys, and welcome back to another video, and I hope you are all okay on that side of the screen. Now this is a follow-up video regarding the WD Cloud EX4100, which is sitting right over here, and on this particular video we are going to check the dashboard interface. Now if you miss any of the videos, I'll be using the new YouTube cards right over here, so you can just click there and check all the videos as I'm going to update the videos as soon as I upload them. Now without any further ado, let's go to the screen and check out the dashboard interface. So we are here at the home screen, and in here we got some interesting information that we can easily check how much used space we have, and if it's movies, photos, music, or other type of documents, and then of course the free storage available. We also have some information regarding the CPU usage and the RAM usage, and you can also have access to the processes that are running at this particular time. So let's go to processes, and you can check what is happening with the NAS. Well, this particular NAS, the WD Cloud EX4100. And in here we have the cloud devices, which at the moment I've got 3 users, 3 and apps. All I have installed is the Dropbox app, but we will cover that in just a few seconds. Now we also have a diagnostic tool here that will check what temperatures are the hard drives working, and if everything is okay, and of course it will give me also the fan speed at this current time. Now on the firmware side we have a tool that you can update manually or automatically, which we will see in the settings as well. Now before we move on, we also have here the information if we have OneDrive connected or not, and on this particular case, as you can see here on the desk, I've got a USB drive, which in this particular case it's a SSD, which we will be using as a test on the next video, which is about backups. But let's move on over here, and here we will find the alerts or the warnings, and in here I've got 2 remote backups succeeded. This was my tests yesterday, and system shutting down, which was actually today, and of course I can remove them if I want, and there we go. So what else we've got? We've got a help guide over here, and also some options to shut down, reboot, or log out, and that will be it for this particular screen. Now let's move on to the users. Now in here we can create as many users as we want. Actually there will be a limit, which I'm not sure which is the limit right now, but for small businesses or for a small office like where I am, fortunately it will be more than enough. So what we are going to see here is that, and of course I've got some just for this purpose, some emails here that are not correct. So temporary doesn't exist, and this one doesn't exist as well. So we've got 3 users at the moment, and we can create a new user here. Let's call it Jose, and you can fill up all these fields and attribute a password if necessary. And let's press so Jose, probably not with accents, and okay, so we have here Jose right now. If we insert the email and when we give him access to the cloud, if that's what we want to do, the system will send the email to Jose to give him access to the shares that we decide, and to the cloud access if we feel to. Now in here I've got all the folders public, so I cannot change, but if I want to make them all not public, and we will see that function in just a minute, I then can by user select which shares or folders you want to give them. In this case we have denied the access. If I want him, Jose in particular, just be able to watch this folder here, but not to write, or I can give him full access, read and write. but for now let's remove all the access here. Now, one more useful thing on this screen over here are the groups. So I just created a group number 1, and on this group I have 2 users, which was Roberto and Jorge. Let's see here. Yeah, Roberto and Jorge. And let's say that I want to add Jose over here. So let's save, and now Jose is part of this group. So in this particular group over here, it has access to all these folders except for the group test. Now let's say that I would want to create another group. All I have to do is group 2, and let's say only Roberto and Jose on this one, and okay, yeah, no spaces. I keep forgetting that one. And there we go, we have group 2 with 2 members that can access the folders that I want to, or shares that I want to give them access. Now let's move on to the shares. And if I press here, as you can see, I've got it public. So when you go back to the users, and we see Roberto, for example, the EX4100 is public, so it doesn't give me any chance to limit the users. But if I go to the shares, and on this case let's go to the EX4100 and remove public. Now if I go to the users and go back to Roberto, I will have the option to say, hey Robert, you don't have access to this, or you can read and write, but Jose, for example, will have no access. So this is how it works, very easy to configure. And let's put back to public, because I'll be doing some tests later on here. Now in here, what I want to show you as well is the shares that are right over here are the shares that we create here. Now let's say that we want to create a new share. So this one I will be calling English video, okay, no spaces, video, because I'll be doing one in Portuguese just next. And once I've got this one here, and I got back to my folders, we will have this share made right over here. So you can create as many shares as you want. And one thing that I would like to point out, on the first video, if you saw, we cannot remove the ones created by the system. I was hoping for that, but no. But this is minor. We can organize everything. If I go to my computer, you can see that I've got this particular one here that I have some interest in it, and I did the same on a Mac. So we will be okay. Nothing very problematic. Now regarding shares, we have a few options here. If you want to enable a recycle bin, which in my case now, when I delete it, which sometimes can be dangerous, but that's the way I work. Share access, you can give access to web FTP, WebDAV, and NFS access. NFS access usually I use for multimedia streaming, which I found during the years that is faster than Samba, but that's another topic. So this is the kinds of configuration that you can find on each of the shares, and of course you can build as many as you want. Now regarding the cloud access, this was something that we already covered on the previous video. We saw how it works on the desktop, and we saw how it works on the mobile devices. And what we do here is, let's say I want to give to the new user, which we just created right now, I want to sign him up. I will just need to put the email here, and Jose will receive an email to confirm. And the WD, this is a great thing, especially when, as I mentioned on the first video, especially if we are outside of our network. This is great because WD2Go will do all the work for us. We don't need to know the IP address and nothing. We just need to worry about the interface, and that is it. So let's get back to the screen. Now the same will happen if I want to give access for Jose to access the EX4100 in this case by mobile device. So I just press here, and this will give me a code which I can send to Jose and say, hey Jose, please activate your code so you can access the folders that we just created here for him. And once he connects, this will be like, let me show you here, like this. So I found the Roberto Jorge, which is me, has been connected in the past with this My Cloud access. So this is the way it works. You saw already on the screen, as I mentioned on the previous video. So let's move on. And in here we have the backups, which I'll be doing next, a video just about backups, and I'll be testing almost all of the backups, at least those that I use regularly. So we're gonna jump this one. And if we go to the storage, just a quick look here. So we can change our RAID configurations, and I've got here auto rebuild on. If we check over here, it says that automatically rebuilds the RAID volumes on your system when you add or remove hard drives. So let's say that you have 2 drives. You buy the diskless version and you have 2 drives, and later on you want to add a new drive, and this if you have it like this, the system will rebuild your array, having in mind that it will have a new drive. And once you insert the 4th, then it will build the array once again to have everything working. So let's move on, and here we can change the RAID mode, which I will not do right now because I will lose everything, but just to show you the kinds of RAIDs configuration that we have here. So JBOD, spanning, RAID. So JBOD is just a bunch of disks. Spanning, it will create a, this is a danger, in my opinion, of course, a dangerous configuration. It will create a giant disk from all of the disks. And then RAID 0, also a dangerous configuration on my opinion. RAID 1, a safe configuration, because we'll have, in this case we have 4 drives, so 2 of them will be copied to another 2, so we can lose 2 drives. On RAID 5, which I found it's the most convenient, in my opinion, of course, for this kind of device, we will have, we can lose on this kind of setting with 4 drives, we can lose 1 drive without suffering any data loss. And RAID 10 as well, but RAID 10 on this particular device is not my favorite, but usable. Now let's close this, cancel, because we're not going to change. And then we have the disk status information that we saw earlier also on the panel. And then iSCSI and volume virtualization, sorry, I do not use it, but it's here. So if any of you uses these protocols, here it is, the option to do that. Now let's move on to the apps. And on the apps, HTTP downloads, this can be useful if you want to do some downloads. And I've got these 2 windows here open with Ubuntu, and I just tested out the, all I had was to place a URL, sorry, and then the device will start to doing the download. And let's, oops, I just cancelled it. So if I press play, it will start making the download, and well, I don't remember where I did select to save to, doesn't matter, probably on public, because I'm not going to finish the download. The point is just to see, this will be, and at the moment we are downloading at 10 megabits per second. This will depend, 9 megabits per second, depend on your connection only, not on the device. The device will give you the bandwidth that you have available on your office or on your home. So in this case we are downloading at 8.5 up to 9 point something and 10 megabits per second, which is the maximum that I get over here usually. Now let's cancel this, and of course there are useful things right over here, which is you can schedule some downloads to do on a particular date. And when we are creating, okay, I need a URL, so I'm going to copy this URL once again and place over here. Let's select public, okay, and rename. I don't want to rename. Recurrent backup. If you want to download it let's say weekly. Do we want to download this file weekly or monthly or whatever, and then create? So there are some useful tools right over here that we can use. And let's move on to, let me delete this, just select one item. Okay. Okay, don't know, no, I'm not, it's not like letting me select, or I'm doing something wrong. I'm not really sure. Are you sure you want to delete? Yeah, I was not selecting. The download job, okay, yeah, and we have deleted it. So FTP downloads will work the same way. Peer-to-peer will work the same way. I already added one Ubuntu link for a torrent. So if I press here to resume, this one here, I already did a test. It was about 15%, and it will keep on doing. And then we will be back here in just a few seconds. The web file viewer, which we can check what we have inside our folders without having the need to be on our computer, but I do prefer this way, but this is an option. And then I've got here Dropbox, which was already something that I did install, and we can install another ones here. Let's say phpb install, and it will start installing, well, downloading and then installing. But as you can see, pretty quick. The device itself works really nice, and here it is installed. Of course we can delete it, and regarding Dropbox you can configure, PHP you can configure, and of course you can add manually, so you can try to install an app manually. Let's cancel this and go back to our peer-to-peer, and there we go. We are downloading roughly at 3.5 megabits per second, and so we can schedule, let's do once more, we can schedule add torrent. Okay, it's not accepting because it's exactly the same as this one. Let's say this one here, and add torrent. Okay, so now we have a new torrent right over here, which we can pause and let it do the download. So for now, let's close this, and of course we have some options over here. You can select when you want to use peer-to-peer or not, and no, in here no. So this is it regarding the apps, and what we have next is the settings. So regarding the settings and checking the time over here, regarding the settings, we have the name of the device that we want to add. I can call this something else more friendly. Then we have the languages that we already saw, time zones, well, these kind of configurations, and then the cloud access, if we want to use cloud access or not, which is very useful, as I said, especially to use outside of your network. And if you want to add access to the dashboard, which is what we are watching right now, on the cloud access or not, which usually I don't. Now regarding energy saver, I always use this, and this is one of my favorite options. When the drive sleeps, it sleeps, and it's, well, dead silent, so I can do voiceovers or whatever, and no problems at all. Regarding the LCD, I can show you right over here. If we look at the WD EX4100 and I click here, as you saw, the LCD just went down, and if I press on, the LCD is back again. So this depends if you want, if by some reason the light is bothering you, just press here and your LCD will be off. Now you can configure as well a power schedule for your device, and if we go configure here, let's say I want to turn on at certain time and to turn off at certain time. and this will be useful for some people, I guess. I use the sleep function, which is great for me. Now also we have the Mac Backups time machine, and we can configure this and say that I only want to use let's say 1.6 2.1 terabytes of storage just for time machine, and I can select which folder I want to use time machine for, so my Mac can see it on the network and use it for the backups. And then we also have some services here like the recycle bin that we can enable or disable. Now regarding network, we have the usual configuration about TCP and services here, if we are using UPS or not, Windows services, remote server, which is something that you want to enable if you are using this device to receive data from another device. And then on the port forwarding, you will need as well, if you are going to configure that, select the default service scan. Let's say that you will be using HTTP or HTTPS, well, whatever format that or service that you need, you will do that. And if I press here remote server, I think that, let me see, 1 2 3 4 5 6, I accept, yes, new passwords, okay, this just, okay, please create the password below for SS, okay. Now if I go to port forwarding, I will have probably, yeah, we'll have here the SSH and the remote backups. So let me turn this off because I will not be needing this. As I said, if you are going to use this device to receive data from another device, you will need this function here to be able to receive it with that protocol. Now let's check, because we are running short on time, DLNA media server, which will be useful if you want to stream media from here, iTunes, which I don't particularly use, but here it is. Now on the utilities, we have some diagnosis, if you want to restore the NAS to default, system configuration, if we want, it's always good to have once you have everything configured, it's useful to save a config file, so later on if you need to restore, and then you just upload this. Now regarding the maintenance, if you want to shut down, reboot, it will tell you how much time you are working with it. In my case, the last time I rebooted was about 10 hours ago, which was this morning. And we can scan the disks, format the disks, and we can mount ISOs to deliver on the network. Now regarding the notifications, you can get alerts by email or by SMS, and you can choose which type of alerts: critical only, critical, and warning, and all. And regarding the firmware update, you can enable auto. Usually I have it off. I prefer to read what is coming on the next update and then do it in here. By default it was on, so I just left it on. Check for updates, we already checked, and of course you will have the manual update, which is not necessary. I've been working with online updates for years and always been great. And this is it regarding the dashboard interface. Now I'm left with a few minutes only, so, and this is a long video, sorry about that if it was too long. I did try to cover as much as I could on the dashboard, so you can get a feeling of what you will find if you decide to get a NAS like the my Cloud EX4100. So stay tuned to the channel if you want to see the rest of the videos regarding this particular NAS, and the next video will be the backups. I'll be testing all the backups that I can think of and that the machine will support. Now that being said, my name is Roberto, and I'll see you on the next one.